So what's going on, guys? My name is MrDalekJD, and today is a very interesting day because, as you've seen from the title, Call of Duty 2020 has just been confirmed. You're probably wondering, how on earth do we know that when the game is never normally revealed until April or May time? Well, every 3 months, the company that creates Call of Duty, Activision, have their quarterly investor call. Of course, since Activision is a public business which relies on shareholders and investors, they have to publicly document their earnings so they can, of course, attract more investors. Around this time every single year, they talk about the release of last year's Call of Duty, then also speak very briefly about this year's upcoming Call of Duty. And if you're excited for it, let me know down below in the comments and be sure to drop this video a like. And whilst details weren't specific, they did say a few things about this year's game, which I'm going to play for you right now.
And then, of course, in Q4 of this year, a new premium Call of Duty release, which is already generating excitement in our playtests.
In Q4, we plan to launch the next premium release of Call of Duty. We can't wait to unveil what our teams have been working on, and we feel great about the content. Although, as is customary, we are prudently assuming lower sell-in for Q4 versus Modern Warfare this past year.
So that's very interesting that it's generating high interest internally with their internal playtests, and that they feel great about the content that is coming, which is obviously good stuff to be hearing about because that means that they're confident in this year's game. But what is interesting compared to every other call they have at the start of a year is they always confirm the studio that is creating this year's game. Now, they never mentioned the studio, but they did say in plural teams working on this year's game, which adds a bit more fuel to the rumor that Treyarch are making this year's game along with the support of Sledgehammer and Raven Software. Now, probably wondering, where has that come from? Well, let me explain. Now, we all know through the rumors and leaks from the past 6 months, first originated from Kotaku, who are extremely reliable in their inside knowledge, reported back in May of 2019 that Treyarch was given leadership of the 2020 Call of Duty game. Now, Activision put Treyarch in charge with Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software to support development of the 2020 Call of Duty game. And Kotaku reported that the original Call of Duty 2020 game that was in development at Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software was a mess because of tension between the studios, which led to Treyarch taking charge of the development. Now, obviously, with Activision not officially confirming who is creating this year's game, I feel like if they were to confirm that those rumors were real, it would put them in a bit of a bad spot, and they don't want to have that sort of negativity surrounding this year's Call of Duty game because, hey, it's a game that they want to make money on and they don't want to have any bad press associated with it before it's even revealed. So no details have been announced regarding this year's game, but the rumors suggest that the game would be set in the Cold War era, including the Vietnam War, but it remains unconfirmed as of now. If the rumors are true and that is indeed what this year's game is based on, how do you feel about that? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So they haven't confirmed what studio is making it, but all the rumors point to still it being Treyarch. And how can we look at any evidence out there to suggest that it is indeed Treyarch? Well, we can look to a few things here and there. The first being a tweet from one of the lead designers at Treyarch, Matt Scrontz, who tweeted on the 6th of January, "Back to work tomorrow, let's go make a video game." Obviously, he works at Treyarch, they make video games, put 2 and 2 together, they are brewing up a Call of Duty game. Whether or not it's this year's, we aren't too sure, but Kotaku have never been wrong, so that is the obvious first guess. Another big thing to realize that this year's Call of Duty game is releasing at the same time as the new console generation, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, which means this game is going to be releasing on PS4, Xbox One, PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X. So that is a huge number of platforms this game has to be created for. One of the most intriguing things mentioned, which I think has gone over everyone's heads, and we must talk about this, is the fact that the Activision Blizzard CEO says that he expects more growth in the player base for Call of Duty this year compared to last year based on mobile, as well as other unannounced Call of Duty initiatives, which means, by the sounds of it, there is going to be more Call of Duty releases aside from just the main game itself. Whatever that means, I don't really know at the moment, but I mean, from the success of COD Mobile, it would be absolutely amazing to see a title similar like that released perhaps on PC. I would really want there to be a console version of COD Mobile, but then it completely alienates the reason for them to make a main COD every year. But that is so interesting to me that there is multiple probably unannounced initiatives for Call of Duty that Activision have up their sleeves this year, which aren't involving the main game of Modern Warfare or the upcoming 2020 game. Now, I don't know what they could be talking about here. I would probably assume that this could involve a battle royale, if that's still something that's happening for Modern Warfare, because it feels like that's been in the rumor mill for months and months and months now, and we've never seen the light of day. Other initiatives could mean more remasters of classic Call of Duty games. I mean, we saw how well Modern Warfare Remastered was received, and if this year's game is a Black Ops game and it's not going to be as well received because it's been such a rushed job, if they pulled off a similar thing to Infinite Warfare by bundling it with a remaster of another game and perhaps doing Black Ops 1 Remastered or Black Ops 2 Remastered, I reckon the game would sell like hotcakes and fly off the shelves. But it's really hard to pinpoint what other initiatives they could be talking about that don't involve another mobile game, unless they want to do a zombies mobile game, which if they were strictly a Call of Duty mobile zombies game, that would be absolutely incredible as well. Or perhaps the unannounced Call of Duty initiatives could involve something else that involves zombies. I would like to say that that could involve a DLC 5, but by the sounds of it, it sounds like something that's completely separate and brand new that exists on its own, that's not part of the foundations of something that already exists. Like, just imagine if they released a PC version of Call of Duty Mobile. It would be absolutely insane. If they pulled off like a Counter-Strike similar thing where they made it free to play and it's just this robust, awesome experience that is constantly updated, just like the mobile game, then it would be an incredible thing. Listening to the actual earnings call as well, they were so interested by the fact that the free-to-play model for Call of Duty Mobile, which is surprisingly their biggest market of player base, no other Call of Duty's had that many players because it reaches such a worldwide range of players in all sorts of countries, that they might want to go down that route going forwards, which will be very, very interesting. What if even the future Call of Duty games down the line became completely free to play, where you had the foundation base game like Black Ops 3, for instance, and then they just keep updating it with more and more content throughout the years? It would be absolutely insane. What was also really weird is that they don't expect this year's Call of Duty to generate as much money as Modern Warfare did at launch. But something to take note with that statement is that they also said they didn't expect Modern Warfare to generate more revenue than Black Ops 4, and then it did and became what is now the most successful Call of Duty of this generation of consoles. So it could be just them being very cautious to investors, and it does make sense. Rebooting the Modern Warfare franchise is something that was such a lightning in a bottle moment that if they replicated that again with Black Ops, I don't think it would have as much of a shock and excitement factor than it did this time last year. So something brand new that resonates well with fans of Black Ops would probably be the best way to go. But then again, the Black Ops name is such a strong name and we all know that name so well, but I think especially with Black Ops 4 and maybe to a certain degree Black Ops 3, the words Black Ops have now become a little bit sort of fragmented and confusing, that people don't really know what Black Ops is supposed to be. It doesn't really have an identity at the moment. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. Like, what do you guys think? I personally believe that if they don't do a Black Ops game, it has the possibility to do pretty bad, considering that Black Ops is such a strong franchise and it's like a series running for longer than the original Modern Warfare series, but it feels so fatigued and overdone that whatever is done this year, it needs to feel like a breath of fresh air. It needs to feel familiar, but also be so new and different that it's like just an absolute joy. You know what I mean? Like, the switch from Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2 was quite drastic with with that sort of past to suddenly future era, but it worked so well. Black Ops is like probably some of the most iconic characters in all of Call of Duty history aside from Modern Warfare, so it'd be absolutely silly not to tap into that universe again, but I feel like they just got on a bit of a weird track with Black Ops 4. And considering that the original Black Ops 1 campaign was finished in less than 9 months, which is something I cannot believe, that quality of campaign was produced in 9 months. If they could just revert it back to a game with a campaign just like that, then I think that the whole theming of the game would really resonate with people super well, and they just really enjoy it. Only time will tell, but let me know what you think of this all down below in the comment section. Do let me know what you think as well about those unannounced initiatives for Call of Duty. Activision are hiding other things up their sleeves which aren't just based around the main Call of Duty games. There's other stuff happening, but we won't know what that is until obviously it gets announced. But if you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news and info, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. But thank you so much for watching. You can check out my previous video on your screen now, which is a brand new Easter egg solved on Black Ops 4 Zombies a year later. And if you're looking to save money, then my code Dalek is currently 30% off on gfuel.com until Tuesday the 11th. So be sure to take advantage of that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.